course European history.
Today we'll be learning about the Enlightened despots, specifically in Prussia, Russia, and Austria.
The Enlightenment spread through educated European individuals during the 18th century. The most influential group of intellectuals were the Philosophers, who wanted to teach and influence many European elite, known as the public, not to be confused with the common people or the people. As well as influencing the public, the Philosophers believed that educating the monarch would lead to better laws and human happiness.
We start in Prussia, after the rule of Frederick William I, better known as the Soldier King. His son, Frederick II, also known as Frederick the Great, was more of a cultural and artsy guy during his early years. Eventually, he reconciled with his father and used the great army that his father left him. At the rise of Maria Theresa to the Habsburg throne, Frederick invaded Silesia, a research-rich province in Germany. Other European powers descended on Austrian territory, defying the pragmatic sanction of Charles VI and starting the War of Austrian Succession. In the midst of the war, Maria Theresa was forced to cede Silesia to Prussia.
Prussia stood as a European great power, but had to defend themselves from Austria's attempts to regain Silesia. The 7 Years' War saw Britain and Prussia against France, Russia, and Austria. Frederick's experiences in this war inspired him to reform Prussia, preferably with more humane policies.
Positive things that Frederick did for Prussia include religious tolerance, improvement of schools, and the ability of scholars to publish their findings. More directly, Frederick simplified laws, abolished torture to prisoners, and improved the efficiency of judges.
However, Frederick did not change the social structure of Prussia. He kept serfs and slaves and expanded the privileges of nobility. Junkers remained the backbone of the state and the army, while serfs and Jews were oppressed.
We last saw Russia under the command of Peter the Great. His youngest daughter, Elizabeth, named her nephew Peter to be her heir. Elizabeth chose a German princess to be Peter's wife. This German, Catherine, worked and studied to be the next heir, and in 1762, Catherine overthrew Peter III and became Empress of Russia. Greatly influenced by the Enlightenment, Catherine had 3 goals.
First, Catherine brought Western European culture to Russia. She imported architects, sculptors, musicians, and intellects, and patronized philosophers. While Peter the Great westernized the army, Catherine westernized the Russian nobility.
Secondly, Catherine focused on domestic reform, such as new law code, restriction of torture, some religious toleration, and strengthening local government. At a time, Catherine was against serfdom, but a 1773 Cossack rebellion changed her views.
And now, an open letter to the Cossacks of 1773. You never seem to learn, do you? 100 years earlier, you guys tried to revolt during the time of troubles, and the nobles banded together to destroy you guys. So whatever possessed you guys to follow Emelian Pugachev, a Cossack claiming to be the true Tsar, didn't know that history will repeat itself. And again, you guys were crushed by a noble-led revolt. In short, look at the success of your previous results before starting another one. Sincerely, Matthew.
After the revolt, Catherine gave complete control of the serfs to the nobles, and serfdom was in its most oppressive phase.
Finally, Catherine had a goal of territorial expansion, and she was successful in this. Her greatest accomplishment was the partition of Poland. By 1795, Poland had been completely split between Russia, Austria, and Prussia, and the old Poland Republic had simply vanished.
In Austria, 2 rulers swept reforms through the state, Maria Theresa and her son, Joseph II. Maria Theresa came out of the War of Austrian Succession with only 1 major loss of Silesia, and started 3 major reforms. First, Maria Theresa limited the papacy's influence on the state. Secondly, she started administrative reforms, which led to the strengthened central bureaucracy. Finally, she cautiously reduced power of the nobles over their serfs.
Her son, Joseph II, came to the throne in 1780. He took his mother's reform zeal and amplified it. Continuing her practice of limiting the papacy, Joseph controlled the church. Unlike Frederick the Great, Joseph granted religious and political tolerance to Protestants and Jews. Where Maria was slowly reducing the power of nobles over serfs, Joseph completely abolished serfdom in 1781. This measure was highly criticized by nobles, and nobles revoked it, and eventually Joseph's predecessor, Leopold II, revoked it.
Philosophical call these leaders, especially Catherine, Joseph, and Frederick, the despots. Collectively, these rulers spread the values of the Enlightenment and supported knowledge, education, and the arts.
Despite their enlightenment, these rulers kept humanitarian objectives as secondary objectives and instead focused on strengthening the state and obtaining more power. Each did try to attain a strong nation through different methods, but they all kept humanitarian reforms on the back burner. However, these rulers differed from their predecessors and accomplished some reforms such as religious tolerance, simplifying legal codes, and promoting education.
In conclusion, the enlightened despots were able to influence the lives of their subjects because of their support and distribution of many Enlightenment ideas.
Thanks for watching. Crash Course was produced and directed by Matthew and Lee. Show was written by Matthew and Lee. Graphics person was just Lee. Okay.
Despots? Despots?
Despots, enlightened despots.
In the midst of the war, Maria Theresa was forced to cede to prejudice.
No.
Philosophes such as Frederick, Joseph, and Catherine called.
The show was directed and produced by Matthew and Lee. Crash Course was produced by Matthew. Produce it?
Enlightened.